Now he limps. Oh yeah, this is a gangster hand, man. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Okay, so notice how it is exactly 1/3 of his stack, right? So he's raising, well, almost exactly 1/3 of his stack. So in theory, ape can still fold here. You know, you can fold to 2/3, whatever, right? So that's why it's so perfect, man. I love it. It's kind of a weird sizing though, right? 60K. Oh, I love it. It's great. And then Thea rips it, and ape snap calls. How sick is that? How gangster is that, man? I love it. I think this is how I want to play, you know. Ray's calling it off with an ace-8 here. How gangster is that, man? Like how many people do you see do this? Hmm. Oh, look at this. I think he folded accidentally. He folded accidentally. He folded 9 deuce suited. I think it's plus V to rip to go all in here. And just raising is also plus EV. Limping is probably better than folding too. So yeah, I think this is a mistake. It's a very small one, of course. But yeah, I think John might agree there that he missed that spot to double up. I know. No, yeah, he would have doubled up, but you know. And I feel like he should 3-bet here. Do it. Ah, he skips this spot. So here you can have different strategies here. I think just going with an open raising one and this exact spot is good. The like 3.5x sizing makes a lot of sense, so I like that one. So he folded another button. What hand did he have here? Shit, we missed it. I just want to see what he folds. 10 deuce. Ah, man. I feel like it's almost any two. I feel like it's almost any two. The only thing is like Greenstone can jam like a pretty wide range here. The thing is, he is not. He's not jamming wide enough here. So I would probably still open. But yeah, it's fine to have some folds there. Also, like the good thing about like not opening is it's actually more likely that they get the money in, which is pretty good, you know. Yeah, it's pretty good. Oh, so he folds ace-5 here. I actually don't hate it. It's like this spot is absolutely like for Ramastar, it's such a bad spot here. And I don't hate folding ace-5, but it's one of those hands that you can still open, I think. Like raise fold, that one, I think is fine. I think limping king-4 here. It's reasonable because now you're a short stack, so you know you can just have a little bit wider limping range again. But I mean, jamming is probably better. No? Yeah, I think so. Ape goes for it with 10 deuce now. So yeah. Yeah, I would agree. Unless you want to limp jam king-4 offsuit for value. I think that's also an option, but it's kind of that's some next level stuff. Yeah, research, rip it. Good bet. Yep. Like here, of course, it's fine to defend like a pretty wide range because there's less ICM, especially when you have like short stack. You're going to get to realize a lot of your equity. So you don't have to overfold in these spots. It's just, you know, and all these other spots, man, I feel like we don't need to defend as wide as we think we do. because we don't get to realize enough equity. Let's see. Also jam or just a raise, get it in would also make sense. Yeah. Just raise big here. Yep. Now we're not going to do heads up, so I think it's fits perfectly 2 hours. Like, I don't know, man. For me, this stuff is so interesting, but I don't know if like for you guys, like I don't feel like I'm explaining my my idea well enough, because I mean every spot is different because it's ICM, so it's very tough to have like set guidelines, you know, for how to play. There's some general rules, I would say. If you cover people, go bet and give up rivers a lot. I think that's GTO and also exploitative. It's very good. The min three betting stuff, I personally think it's good. But let's see. Let's see. I think yeah, so it would be an option here to donk. Wait, it's not this hand, right? Yeah, next hand. Okay, so yeah, you can donk this turn for sure, flop for sure. The 6, it's interesting. Like personally, I would always donk this turn. I would donk big sizing, and I would donk for value with a 5, big, big sizing with a 5. But I think like Ape has like a pretty good read on Ramstar. So like this exact hand is also reasonable to just check call. Or like, you know, start with a check here as well, especially on a 6. So let's see. But I personally, I would donk here. Even on the 6, yeah. Because we might not have a lot of deuces, but Ramstar also doesn't have a lot of deuces. Like any deuces except ace deuce. So yeah. And a lot of the 7s are still, well, on this flop you can check his entire range almost. So he goes with the big sizing here on the turn, and I don't really understand this. Like I feel on a 6, well, I do understand. Like, so he's betting because Ape didn't donk. That's why he's betting. Because now he can actually value bet a little bit wider because John should be donking most of his straights here, right? Even like 2 pair, he should probably be donking. So what happens is you can start value betting over pairs here, or even like a 6, like this sizing, and also bluff a lot, of course. So it does make sense to me after the missed donk here, which I don't necessarily think is bad if you're gonna do exactly this, right? Like this, and then this. So I think Ape is tanking here, all right? John is tanking here, and I think he's not thinking about folding. I think he's thinking about raising or calling. Yeah, and he goes with the call, I think here. Yeah. So if you're not gonna donk that turn, that's how you should play it, not fold the river, right? So well played. If you're gonna like call turn and then fold river to that kind of stuff, it's better to donk for sure. So that makes donking a lot better. And it also makes sense just to donk there because it's kind of better for your range. So, you know, makes a lot of sense. Oh yeah, this one is kind of funny too. Check, 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 check. I think at low stakes, nobody bluffs there. in those spots. So at low stakes, you should definitely donk to get like some extra value. At higher stakes, it's a little bit more because, I mean, game becomes different because people actually have donks there. At lower stakes, people don't really, well, they do have donks these days, but like at higher stakes, there is a lot of donking there on the turn. So once John doesn't donk, he can start betting. Like he could start bluffing a lot and also value betting kind of light. Then on the river, I feel like the tricky part is on the river there. I feel like he should probably bet even bigger. But yeah, that's just me. But yeah, at lower to mid stakes, it's way better to donk, I think. Because what happens is you just like they're not gonna start bluffing, basically, on those kind of runouts. Okay, so I think this one is interesting too. Oh yeah, I thought John was gonna do something here. Yeah, I thought he was gonna so it goes check, 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 which is very interesting. Makes sense for Ramastar. Also makes sense for Ape's strongest part of his range. And now he goes this sizing with exactly this hand. Makes sense, of course. But it is kind of interesting that like John has one of the best hands to bluff here, in my opinion. Like to raise here as a bluff. But maybe I'm wrong. I think the Jack is good. I think like not having a spade is good too, because I don't think Ramstar is going to check twice with a flush in this spot, even though it's probably an option in ICM world. But yeah, so he's not wrapping a flush, so it doesn't really matter that it's actually almost better that you don't have a spade here because he's not wrapping a flush. So having a pair and a blocker to Jack 9 and King Jack, which could be played like this, makes this one a good, sexy, very, very sexy jam. But I don't think he's gonna jam here. Yeah. 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 What a great spot to be in. I think that's reasonable to just rip it here. Like this spot is interesting because I do feel like you could almost jam any two here in ICM and it's going to be profitable. But I don't mind like a little bit more split rangey-esque way of playing like the top end of your range like this and also like trash like this and then just jam the middle. I think that's also a very good option and might be a little bit better even than just ripping everything. So I like that. Yeah, just ripping it. Yeah. Yeah, but it wouldn't be a punt. I think it would be absolutely fine. Unlucky. Not going crazy with the 7 deuce here. All at poker. Yeah, this one makes sense as well. Rubber star should jam. Yep. Huh. Could probably open, but it's whatever. Fold the Jack 6 there. It's trashy hand. So he limps here. You could also open the 4-5 for sure. I think he's gonna bluff again here. This one makes a little bit more sense. Like check, 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 and then just bet, you know, ace high or something. Yeah, that would make sense, I think. And you have 5 high, so you have to take a shot, a stab there. So he opens a king 9 here, and yeah, it's gonna get ripped on, but I don't hate this one. So he opens jack 9. I like it. Let's see what Abe does here. Yeah, he just rips it. I like it too. Like the shit aces most of the time are better just as an all-in than anything else. Okay. So he induces with ace king. He holds. I do like jam there with the queen jack. Wait, he did induce, right? Yeah, yeah. I think it's perfectly fine hand. I think, yeah, he's limb jamming, so it's gonna be heads up. We can finish a heads up too if you guys want. Yeah, it's not that long. It's actually 5 minutes or something. So yeah, heads up. Let's see. Yeah, I like the check here. Yeah, check again. Yeah, and I'll bet for value with the ace high. He just checks back. Okay, that's fine too. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's okay. You don't really need to bet there. So heads up, there's no ICM, by the way. Like it's just wow, rip it, deuces. That's pretty cool. Queen high, like he had. It's heads up, man. It's hard to make a pair. Oh, this is not going good. I actually don't hate. Well, it's not the best hand to call a three bet. Ace three. It's also. I mean, it's heads up again, so ace high is good. Whoa, wait. What the hell is this? Why does he check the flop? Yeah, you can value bet ace high is a lot, like blind versus blind on the river. If it goes check, check for value. So this is kind of interesting. So here calling I think is very close. I don't know, like I'm not a heads up expert here. I feel like it's almost better as this deep. It's almost better as a 4-bet fold. But I don't hate it. Like it's heads up, so ace high is good a lot of the time. And now like I don't think like even though queen is maybe a little bit better for 8, I still think this is a bet. Yeah, I feel like this is a bet. Like, why would you check here? Yeah, I think heads up, you can just go range. Yeah. And then he bets this ridiculous small sizing and it works out. I mean, you could just bet the ridiculous small sizing on the flop and hope you get more value that way. I don't know, man. I feel like that was kind of crazy. Like sometimes it's okay to entry bet pause to check like a very strong range, but heads up, I don't think so, man. This is not good. Let's look at this again. So just raise, call, bet, small, call. I think he's gonna bet bigger here. Like this is the nuts basically. Yeah, so he overbets. I like it. I think he's gonna check back the river though, so that's good. Like with this exact hand, it's probably good to check back where we are. So I like it. Very well played. IMO. Just unlucky. Yep. And it's probably last hand. So yeah, just a very unlucky heads up. That really sucks, man. That really sucks. But yeah, like ape is so good, guys. I know you all know that, but I mean, I play pretty high stakes, so I'm not saying like I'm very good or anything, but I play with a lot of very good players, and there's still a difference. There's still a difference. And you see it in this kind of stuff, he's just so good, man. So yeah, um, yeah, just ask some questions. I would never do that, by the way. But if you think about it, it's pretty good. So the reason why it's good is because Vea opens top of his range. So ace eight becomes a good isolate, and then when he rips it, you just have enough equity. Yeah, because Vea is capped when he limps there, because he was opening like top of his range, etc. Right? Of course the situation changed a little bit, but still, it's not a spot where he's gonna limp aces that deep. So maybe exactly aces, but not like ace king, ace queen, hands like that. So it's very, very gangster actually to do that, to make that sizing and then call it off with ace eight suited. I really, really like it. I would never do it because I don't think about that stuff like that deep. I would just isolate smaller sizing and then probably fold to a jam because I'm a nit. But if you think about it, uh, like Vea is probably very, very capped there, which makes ace eight a pretty good hand. So going a little bit bigger and still calling it off just because you have the equity there, because you think like John thinks he has the equity against his range there, is very, very gangster, and I love it a lot. But I would never do it because I'm not that good. But yeah, it was very, very good. But it's one of those spots that you can't really, in general, just isolate a lot wider than you think you should be doing. So against limps, if you think they limp polar, so if you think they limp like aces, kings, or like jacks plus, like some of these guys did, you should still isolate wide, but you should go small sizing, because their other part, like the other part of their limping range is gonna be, not so good, and it's fine. Like you can play post flop if they like limp call, and you're gonna be absolutely fine. If they limp more linear without the top, like Vea was doing there, you have to isolate bigger, like bigger sizing, right? Because a lot of his range is playable, so you want to price like you want to put more chips in, versus like kind of a strong but capped range. You want to go bigger, if that makes sense. Because he might be making a mistake like limp calling a bit too wide with like 9-7 suited or something, but if you go too small, it's never really that big of a mistake. I think limp calling like 7-9 suited and shit like that. I mean, I still think it's a mistake though. That's why I feel like three betting small is also good, because even though they're getting very good odds, especially if you cover them, like it's really hard to realize all your equity. So a lot of hands are a lot worse than people think they are. hands like king jack suited, king 10 suited, ace 10 suited, they all become like a lot worse than people think they do, even when they get a good price pre-flop. That makes sense. And that's why I want to 3-bet small. Yeah. What else? What else? So the other thing I would say is, like for now, maybe try it, like 3-betting small when you cover people, and see how they react, right? Because they will still call a lot. Don't get me wrong, they will still call a lot. But what happens is it's not that bad for you. You know, even if you have kind of like a wide range, you're still going to have like a good range, like a playable range. And they will have to fold so much already on the flop and on the turn. And especially like the first couple of times you 3-bet small, they will put you on an even stronger range than you actually have, right? Like they always think you're going to have aces because that's what people do. You know, they 3-bet small with like, you know, ridiculously strong range. So you also have aces in that range, of course, but you have like a lot more, you know, like queen jack suited, 8-7 suited sometimes, like queen 8 suited, like king 5 suited sometimes even, you know, min 3-bet. You know, try it and see how it goes and let me know. Send me some hands. What else? What else? Oh yeah, the other thing is like you can fold a lot more in the big blinds than I think people are doing right now. Like especially with like 25 big blinds to 35 big blinds stack when somebody covers you, because you will not get to realize all of your equity at all. Also, don't flat in position that much. There are always exceptions, especially at lower stakes, where you know, people aren't just gonna go bet like big sizes at all or something like that. So then it's still fine to flat a certain part of your range, like king queen suited, ace jack, some pairs, stuff like that. You can still flat. But in general, like be careful when you flat because you don't realize as much equity as you think you do, which makes your flat a lot worse. So in those spots, you can consider a small 3-bets as well, even when you're the short stack against the bigger stack. But that's another thing. That's another thing. I'm not gonna like suggest that. So like, I mean, right now I'm gonna do it myself, but I'm not gonna tell people to do it. So yeah. Any other questions? Oh yeah, about limping. You can limp. The only thing I would say is look at it case by case, like hand by hand, situation by situation, and never limp the top of your range. Unless there's like 1 or 2 guys who just go absolutely crazy, isolating or just jamming like 25 big blinds over limps. Don't limp top of your range because you will lose a lot of value compared to just opening. Yeah. Oh yeah, the other thing is if you're in the small blind and the big blind covers you, you can just open fold a lot. Don't make the mistake of limping too much because it will not end well unless he's a whale again. Like if people are fish, it doesn't really matter. You can basically do whatever you want. But if he's like a decent reg, really like tighten up your range in those kind of spots. Another thing is you can check back the flop. So let's say you open on 25 big blinds and the big blind covers you and he defends. You can check back the flop with a lot of value as well, and like polarize basically on the turn or river. Yeah. If you cover people, you can already overbet on the flop if you want to, but I would suggest still just betting like between 33% on the flop and 75% on the flop, and just like bet bigger on the turn, because on the turn is the part where people fold a lot, and then just give up a lot more on the river. Yeah. yeah, I think that's it. I don't have anything else to say. I mean, I hope you guys took some notes, but I'm gonna try and make it like more comprehensible, like with some charts or at least like some range examples a little bit more, maybe some biosolve or monk solver stuff like that. But yeah, to me it all makes sense, but I don't know if it's all right. It makes sense to me, but I don't know if it's right. But if I'm wrong, I'm just different wrong than everybody else because I feel like everybody's playing wrong. So how bad can it be to be wrong, but like on a different level? You know what I mean? Uh, yeah, thanks guys. I always enjoy it more than I think I'm like every time before a session, I was like, oh my God, I'm such a moron. Why should I be talking? But I always enjoy myself. I'm just saying, like, just try stuff. This is the stuff I'm gonna try, like the mint betting, the never flatting in position, uh, like that kind of stuff. I'm gonna do it. I don't know if it's gonna work out the way I want it to work out, but I'm gonna try. Um, so that's where I'm at right now. I already tried it, and so far it seems to be working. But of course, sample is small, and people don't really know how to react to it yet. So also it's high stakes, so there's a big difference, especially at final tables, low stakes. Thanks, guys. I'll talk to you later. Oh, by the way, if you have any interesting hands, especially if you see somebody else mint 3-bet and it's not aces on a final table, please send it to me. Because I haven't seen anybody do it. I have not seen anybody do it. There's certain spots where people like go 2.5x, but that's kind of like standard spots. And sometimes they just only have aces. So yeah, if you see something like that, or if you try it yourself and you get into a tough spot, let me know. Send me the hand. Might take me a couple days to react because yeah, I have I have a million chats that I haven't read, but still, just send it to me. Don't be scared. Okay, guys. Talk to you later. Bye bye.